Hey, it's Patrick. Today I'm here to talk to you about S&S Cycle big bore kits for Milwaukee-Eight powered motorcycles. If you're looking to add horsepower to a Milwaukee-Eight, this is a great way to start. And what I mean by Milwaukee-Eight is if you have a Harley-Davidson touring bike from 2017 to present or a Harley-Davidson Softail from 2018 to present, these are gonna fit your bike. What this does, it adds displacement to your motorcycle. What I mean by that is it adds cubic inches to the inside, giving you a bigger volume in that motor to put more gas in, to make bigger bangs, to make bigger horsepower. And how it does that is by increasing the bore size. The bore size is the piston in your motorcycle, the distance across there, so to speak. And when you increase that, you increase the displacement and increase the horsepower. These kits are a perfect way to do that for your Milwaukee-Eight powered machine. Now, they're all gonna cost you $1,400. Where the differences come in, they start in the finishes. They have a black with polished fins, and they have a granite finish if you have a CVO. Why that's important is if you want to keep that stock look to your motorcycle, they can match that up and it won't look weird going from the cylinder to the cylinder head to the case. They have you covered. Now, from there, your differences are gonna be kind of dependent on what motor you have. If you have the base 107, this 4¼ inch bore, again, that bore is what's across the top of that piston, the size of that piston. So if you have that 4¼ inch bore, and you put it on a 107, it's gonna give you a 124. If you take this 4¼ inch bore and you put it on the 114, it's gonna give you a 128. And the reason for that is the stroke differences in the 107 and the 114 are different, meaning that rod angle that goes through that motor, it strokes up and down in the cylinder longer. That's where you get 4 more cubic inches than you do for the 107. A little bit longer stroke. Now, the outlier here is the 131. This 131 piston is made to go on a stroker crank. So even though it is a big bore, you do have to add a crank to it to get the 131 inches. The stunning part to me is that you can get 124 or 128 inches out of a bolt-on big bore kit. With the twin cams and the Evos, that would mean you had to do a stroker crank. This is much easier than that. You're simply taking the top end of the bike off, replacing the pistons and cylinders, and ending up with a whopping 124 or 128. And this is no modification to the cases necessary. These things bolt right on. Now, the cylinders themselves are an aluminum cylinder with a cast iron sleeve. That cast iron sleeve is important to me because some companies have started going to a thinner tool steel liner, which I don't really care for. It can flex too much. You can get some piston slap in there. I really like the cast iron liners from S&S Cycle. Now, the piston is a forged piston, much stronger than the stock cast piston, and it is 11-to-1 compression instead of the 10.5-to-1. The 11-to-1 compression number might sound a little bit tall to some of you engine builders out there, and previously it might have, but now the Milwaukee-Eights are already 10.5-to-1 out of the box, so a little half a point of compression bump just give you a little more snap in the motor, and it's nothing crazy. But you don't want that air squeeze too much. So if you have a too high a compression ratio, that could cause you some tuning problems, so some pinging, knocking, some detonation. S&S has settled on a really nice 11-to-1 number there with this forged piston. There's also a nice coating on those pistons. You see a lot of the aftermarket pistons going to that in the last few years, a lot of the hot rod piston manufacturers, and it really helps with wear on the piston. Those coatings really do make a difference. That's something that comes stock on an S&S piston now. Other than that, this is gonna come with everything you need to install this kit. Head gaskets, base gaskets, wrist pins, clips, of course, even new exhaust gaskets and assembly lube that have you set up. Now, this is going to be a little bit of an involved install. If you don't have a lot of mechanical experience behind you, you're gonna wanna take a look at this one, and we have some videos available to you to walk you through this process. Our weekend wrenching videos will show you exactly how to put this big bore on a Milwaukee-Eight engine. Give you a good look at this, decide if you wanna take a crack at it. Otherwise, yeah, this can be done in a weekend with, quite frankly, simple hand tools. You could use a piston ring compressor if you really wanted to. The kit isn't necessary to put that on. Normal hand tools, you can get this job done in your garage in a weekend. If you have any other questions, you can always click that info tab on your desktop or mobile device. That'll take you to the product detail page. You can read more specs about this big bore and other riders' reviews. If you still have questions, feel free to reach out to our customer service team. They would love to talk to you about adding horsepower to your motorcycle, which big bore kit fits your riding style and your budget the best. I'm Patrick. Thank you for watching. Go wrench on those motorcycles.